Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we are discussing a 50-piece limited edition that was launched in 2020. Now, a little bit of history lesson is important here. In 1987, for the 1988 model year, GR Long, the founder of the original Chronoswiss company, launched his Chronoswiss regulator, an unusual application of a regulator dial on an accessibly priced watch. It was also a rare, complicated mechanical watch as the industry was crawling out of the quartz crisis era. So today, the reborn Chronoswiss, which was reestablished in Lucerne, pays tribute to that original regulator with the watch you see here. This is the Open Gear ReSec Electric Blue. And you can see why it's called the ReSec. The seconds repeat. Lots to love here. A regulator dial separating seconds, hours, and minutes in a CVD blue stainless steel case. So more on that in a moment, but let's talk about its size. It's a large watch. 44 millimeters in diameter, 13.7 millimeters thick, 53.2 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll zoom out, throw it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. I could wear this watch, but only just. If your wrist is bigger than mine, you're good to go. If your wrist is smaller than mine, seek a smaller watch. You can see that the lugs come right out to the edge of my wrist. Down the barrel is the truest shot, and they're right at the edge. They're not over the edge, but they're right at the edge. The watch, however, is thin enough, being under 14 millimeters thick, that with the domed bezel, it should slide underneath the cuff. So if you've got the beefy wrist, you're probably going to have the beefy cuff to match, and you should be able to slide this underneath. Did I say beefy? Oh, I mean it. Although I'm not sure beef is how you describe the meat of an alligator. And this is an alligator hornback leather strap. You're used to seeing this cut on Audemars Piguet Royal Oak offshores. Not only is it an expensive cut, but it is a durable cut, and in this case, it's been cut and applied massively with nearly a 1/4 inch of thickness right there. Taking a quick look in profile, you could see that it's got incredible depth, as hornback cuts tend to, with a matching electric blue color, a monotone stitch, and on the bottom a darker, and this time calfskin leather that has not been crimped or gouged. You can see this is a brand new Chronoswiss factory strap. 22 millimeters between the lugs. You'll note that the strap is fixed to the case using screws and bars, an upscale and more secure way of fixing a watch to its strap than a spring bar. So I'm glad to see that. Taking a look at the buckle, you can see that it is a snap shut, single fold deploying clasp that is held by friction. You can hear it snap positively shut. You see the Chronoswiss logo externally with a little bit of media blast along with the polish. CVD, what is it? Well, it is not PVD. PVD is physical vapor deposition, and it involves starting with a solid or liquid, essentially aerosolizing or gasifying that, and then depositing it on a surface. And it tends to be more line of sight than CVD, which uses a material that starts and remains a gas throughout the process. So CVD, chemical vapor deposition, is used here, is the preferable method to uniformly apply a color over a complex surface. So if you need to apply a color over something that doesn't give you easy line of sight, for instance, I want to coat this entire watch, but I can only project the material from one angle relative to the watch. Well, the good thing is chemical vapor deposition is good at wrapping and micro-coating shallow and intricate recesses. Now, taking a look, there is some finish here beyond the CVD. As you can see, satination, vertical satination along the case band, polishing on the lug hoods, the fixing bolts, and then the bezel and the case back. Bezel and case back are both coined. They help to define the mid-case section. We have a traditional Chronoswiss onion-style crown. When GR Long created Chronoswiss in 1983, the watches were mostly made in Germany, but it was a tribute to the Swiss watchmaking traditions in which he was trained and under which he worked during the 60s and 70s prior to the quartz crisis. So The watch has strong German roots, but he always called it Chronoswiss due to the fact that it was Swiss-inspired. Well, today they are in fact made in Switzerland, in Lucerne, so Chronoswiss perhaps a more apt name today than it's ever been before. Taking a quick look at the dial, the 30-second retrograde seconds display is the highlight, but Chronoswiss also describes this as a flying regulator, not merely a recreation of the original from the 80s. It has bridges that sit on different planes and lift the different elements, the hours, minutes, and seconds, far above the hand guilloche dial base, and this is real hand guilloche with a wonderful rayon pattern emanating out from the center. So this is not the stamped kind, it's the good stuff. You can see that the bridges featuring the displays are alternately satinated and polished with beveling present and black polished screws to fix. And then we have a track outboard on which little luminescent blocks have been planted. We'll do a loom shot here so you can see it more easily. And you can see that the watch is fairly well loomed. You can see the hours and minutes. You do lose the entertaining and animated seconds display, but in terms of consulting your watch, it is just fine. Now you can see the watch is individually numbered. This is 18 out of 50, and it has a wonderful symmetry about it. If you look at the dial carefully, you can see it's not perfectly symmetrical, but for the most part it is, and that's aesthetically pleasing. Now, because it uses an ETA 2892A2 base, we also have a stop seconds function here, and you can see as I advance the time, the hours and the minutes advance as well. Look carefully at the hands for the seconds, the minutes, and the hours, and you can see they have a lovely frosted finish. You can also see the bridge underneath the hour hand and its associated drivetrain. Take a good look, and you can also see that bridge below the hour hand has been mirror beveled on its side. This watch is full of lovely flourishes, and it's surprisingly sporty, though you don't want to take this alligator strap swimming, ironic since alligators do swim. Put it on a rubber strap or a textile strap, and you can avail yourself of the unexpected 100-meter water resistance. Now on the reverse side, you can see that we have a ETA 2892A2 in top grade. That's just below chronometer. It's a very high grade of 2892. Bidirectional automatic winding with a 4 Hz beat rate. This version's been upgraded with 29 joules, so an 8 joule module on top of the 21 joule base. You got the 42-hour power reserve, and of course the stop seconds function. There is a micrometric eccentric screw regulator, and then we have Edicron for fine timing adjustments and beat error corrections. We have blued screws, engine turning, as well as Côte de Genève on the bridges. We have solarization on the barrel itself, and of course all of this is machine applied, but it's handsome. Then we have a blue rotor and a movement spacer that admits we have a much larger watch than the movement inside it. But that's okay, because as I like to say, you don't wear them upside down. If you love this watch, reach out to me, Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.